Hi, Greer from Active Health Clinic, one of the exercise physiologists here. Today I'm talking about our nervous system states and how we can shift them, or at least be aware of what our state is and guide what we might need. So how do we meet kind of where we're at? How do we approach different parts of our day? It's a little bit of a nutshell about how yoga works. So certain yoga principles here as well. So first part is the different states we can be in. So one continuum we've got is our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, or high arousal and low arousal. And the other continuum is if that is at a sort of optimal state and it's pleasant, or if it's not optimal, if we're having more of a negative, unpleasant experience. So if we're up here in the high arousal positive, we might describe it as a flow state, optimally challenged, focused. We might still feel quite fast-paced. If we're in the low arousal positive state, might feel calm, serene. And generally these states, they'll support us to rest well. They'll support nourishing rest. And on the other side, the more unpleasant high arousal will be, we might feel kind of overwhelmed, hard to focus, unsettled, restless, all those kind of things. And in the low arousal, we might feel dull, flat, foggy, that kind of thing. So it can be really helpful to reflect on, where do I tend to sit in the continuum? Where do I tend to be? And it can also be nice to reflect on, what do I tend to go for? Does it fit with how do I tend to feel? So if I tend to feel kind of lethargic and low, and I go for my restorative practices, slowing down quiet, it might not be serving me that well. Or if I tend to be really go, 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 and I go for high intensity movement and exercise and cognitive things, does that serve me really well? So ideally what we want to do, if we're noticing that this side kind of takes care of itself, we probably rest well around it. This side, we want to shift it because it's really unpleasant. We can't always, but see if we can. So I like to think of this high arousal state. We want to try to bring that down a little to a more optimal state. Different for different people, different reasons, all that stuff. But things that can really help is movement breaks. So we want to move and we want to settle. There are some other videos on our YouTube around breathing. So if you want more information, you can check those out. But basically to calm the system down, we ideally want to slow our breath, exhale and pause. We want to fold forward. We might invert the body, have legs up the wall. Lots of ways we can do that. But we can't always do that. We can't always just be going and shift and slow down. So we might need to get the body moving first. That helps the breath regulate, and then we might find it easier to slow and settle. It could also be in cognitive ways. We might have a task that's kind of lightly active or takes a little bit of concentration. We kind of have to move and engage to settle. If we're more at the kind of dull, low arousal state, we need to nourish our system, and then we want to lift it a little bit. So again, we can't necessarily just shift from flat to up and moving. So we might first need to sit and settle. Sit with cozy things, comforts, a warm drink, a snack. And then can we lift a little bit? Can we get some movement in? Things that tend to help are inhales with a pause. So inhale, simply think one, count of one, exhale. A really nice practice could be seated, obviously given your shoulders, what needs to be appropriate for you, but you can imagine you're holding a ball, and you could simply imagine you're throwing it up in the air, and you can get that pause while you're waiting to catch it and bring it down. Inhale, pause 1, catch it, bring it down. You might go to a count of 2, a count of 3. You just take it to that point where it's comfortable for you. So yeah, inhale, pause to lift, some movement to lift. Yeah, hope that's helpful. If you want more, there's more on our YouTube channel.